Hello and welcome to Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. Season 3, Episode 6. I'm your host, Mike Gay, and again today we'll be joined by both Coach Clifford and Coach St. Martin. We're going to start with Coach Clifford and a player profile and Player of the Week, Sarah Roycroft. Welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
So,
to bill it as the Super Bowl edition.
Yes, the Super Bowl edition, a little bit early because I may be in transit next week, so I wanted to make sure we got it in. I was saying before the show that we've been airing this program for 3 years now, and coincidence that this is the third Patriots Super Bowl in a row?
Crazy. I don't know.
I think not.
It's pretty good.
So we will get to Super Bowl predictions in a bit. But you've had a really, really busy week. 2 out of your 3 games have been played. 2 dubs, to quote Patrick Riley. So, Coach, walk us through the week.
Yeah, so we were here last Friday. We went to Holliston came to us last Friday night. I don't think we played our best, but we got a good win over them. Just felt like we were kind of low on energy, things like that. We went to Dover Sherman on Monday. Tried to respond a little bit. It's tough. We had like a matinee 1:30 game, quiet gym, but we were able to, I thought, came together and played a little better against them and beat Dover Sherman too pretty handily, which was good. Then we hosted Lincoln Sudbury on Wednesday, which has been a fun series we've had the last 3 or 4 seasons where we just kind of trade off the location. This time we were hosting. They're a good team. They play in the Dual County League, strong Division I Central team, much better than their record, and they gave us a good test. We couldn't buy a basket, it felt that sometimes. It took us a while to get going against their zone defense, but eventually we got there. I think we had good ball movement. We got a lot of good shots off. We just couldn't really fall. We really locked in on defense in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, which was great. And contrary to the rest of our teammates, Riley Murray couldn't miss. It was huge for us offensively down the stretch. So we were able to pull out a 40-32 win there. Improved our record to 10-1, which means we qualify for the tournament at the end of the season, which is exciting. The girls are all excited about that. It's I didn't need last year to know this, but you can never take a tournament appearance for granted. So we're really happy to be back. That's awesome.
So, Sarah, welcome. Your first time on Around the Hoop, so very excited to have you.
Thank you.
You've played a huge part of this team's success from the beginning of the season through Wednesday's game. Certainly that looks to continue. So just walk us through what went into the effort before the season and then the success you've had so far.
Yeah, definitely. So last year I think I got some good minutes as an underclassman and I got to make an impact on the team, but really just this off-season, I just want to make an even bigger impact and just being a bigger threat on the court. And so I think I was able to do that by using my athleticism from like other sports that I play and just transitioning that into the basketball and how I can be a better teammate, player, and just how I can use up my confidence and be a bigger threat really on the court.
So how about the preseason? So what specifically did you do that other players, 8th graders, freshmen, sophomores can do to really prepare themselves?
Yeah, totally. So I did not play soccer this fall as I usually do, and so that kind of gave me more time. And last year when I did play soccer, the transition between like such a big field game like soccer to basketball is a little harder because it's more sprinting, like little sprints. So with all my time off this fall, I was trying to train myself more for those sprints and just being a better basketball shape, if that makes
sense. Got it.
sense.
And just for the record, this is not, that question wasn't meant to promote not playing soccer. My son, a big soccer player, but it's a great point. So a lot of the kids that play a fall sport, it's a little bit more challenging to quickly transition into basketball, whether that's on the boys' side, football, track, soccer, etc. There's ways you can do it, and people have been successful, but it sounds like you were really able to use that time to focus in on getting into basketball shape.
Yeah.
So
she won't initiate this, so I will. But why don't you tell us the real reason you took the fall off? Had a little traveling to do. Recruiting scene.
Yeah. My biggest sport is actually lacrosse, and so this fall was a big time for the recruiting process, and I was actually able to this fall make a commitment to the University of Richmond to play lacrosse.
That's awesome. You're going to be a Spider.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Phenomenal school.
Thank you.
So it's really exciting. It was one of the questions I asked one of your JV players on the Wednesday game who was doing some color commentary with me. Most of the high school basketball players also play lacrosse. There's a few that don't, but lots of success. So many of the girls are playing multiple sports, and many have committed like yourself. So that is awesome. So it is time for a look ahead. So we'll start with you, Coach. What do you have tonight, and then what do you have next week?
Yep, we travel to Ashland tonight. Another TVL large opponent. They've been playing better of late, got some kids back from injury. So that'll be a good road test for us. And then next week we have 2 huge home games. We host both Medfield and Hopkinton. Medfield we had a great game with the first time around. They're still in the hunt for the league. We're currently tied for first right now, but they're not out of it yet, so they're going to be hungry for wins. So that should be a great game. And then Hopkinton, we beat the first time at their place. They've since got their starting point guard back, who is still recovering from an ACL injury, so that'll be a really good test for us too. But we're very much taking things one game at a time, but we're coming up on a huge part of our schedule, and we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. I ask you every week, but are you still achieving your goal of getting a little bit better every day?
Yeah, we're still there. Some days are better than others, but the girls are working really hard. It's a really great group, and we've definitely gotten better, and we'll look to keep doing that.
Awesome. So from your point of view, looking ahead, some huge games, not only tonight traveling to Ashland, but then next week 2 huge TVL games. How do you continue the successes you've had individually and then being the best teammate you can be? Yeah,
really, I just think it's energy and how much effort you want to put in these big games. Definitely now home, Medfield and Hopkinton are going to be home, and those are 2 really big teams and kind of rivals. So I think just using that energy of being home in these big games and transfer that onto the court and really give it your all so we can come out with the win.
So there's one thing I'll ask you to make the call. Been a little disappointed in the Den and their support of the girls basketball team, and so why don't you give a message to the Den for those next 2 games next week, Tuesday and Friday.
They're definitely going to be big games, and we need all the support we can get, and so I think it would be very nice and a nice gesture for a lot of the Den, maybe the Den leaders, to come show up and give us that support.
So you heard it from Sarah Roycroft. Show up for the Den.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So now, again, what everybody's really waited for, Super Bowl predictions. We're a week and a bit away. And like I said, we're not sure if we can do an episode next week. We'll still try to make it happen. We'll start with you, Coach. Patriots, Rams, a repeat from the 2001 season. Super Bowl played in 2002.
Yep.
What happens?
It's going to be tough. I think the Rams were great. I'm going to go 27-24 Pats, and I'm going to say, Brady 2-minute drill and Gostkowski for the win.
So you're going to the streak of close Super Bowls in the Patriots continues. Low scoring game. Vegas has a little bit of a higher scoring game than that. Okay, so we'll jot it down. You were very close in the AFC Championship game. Sarah, what do you have?
Well, I don't really know much about football, but I know my dad's just always yelling at the TV. So I think I'm going to guess Pats 24 and Rams 17.
Okay, like it a lot.
Even lower.
Like it a lot. I'm going to hold my prediction.
Defense. Just carrying that over too.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the suspense in check. We'll reveal my prediction in a little bit. I am not going to surprise anybody by saying it's Pats, but what the scores will be different. I'm going to close in asking you, Coach Clifford. Last night we had a super successful basketball social put on by the boosters, both boys and girls, at the Norfolk Country Club. About 100 people in attendance. Just a great night. At the end of the night, you shared some thoughts, and I'd love you to kind of reiterate some of those about what basketball has meant to you in your 9 seasons in the program, 6 seasons as a head coach. Yeah, sure. The event's great. We started it last year. The parents from all 6 of the high school teams come out just to support the kids, and we couldn't do it without the parents. The captain's parents on both sides really lead the way, but there's just so many people involved in making that night a success. What it does for us is kind of my biggest point last night was my biggest goal as a coach is to just give the girls a great experience. Obviously, we want to be successful, and there's other goals along with that, but just to make sure they have a lot of success. I said, last year really showed me how much I love my job, and we can go 7-13, and I still had a blast. I think the girls did too. So we do a lot on and off the court to try to do that, and without the support, of the parents and the boosters, we wouldn't be able to do that. So I just, echoed that I feel so fortunate to be a part of the Westwood community, and it's just fun to show up, these hooligans every day, and they definitely I can't decide whether they're aging me or keeping me younger. I think it's different every day, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, you're not playing the Facebook 10 years ago picture. Soon enough, not doing that, no. Soon enough, we'll have around the hoop 10 years. And, perfect. We can look at the tape. But no, it was a phenomenal night, and again, your comments were great, as was Coach St. Martin's. It's just an awesome kind of turnaround over the last 10 years of where basketball is, where it was and where it's grown to, and the support the community is giving. So awesome job in that. Sarah, you're a natural, so we hope to see you back. Thank you. See you back, and hopefully both of your predictions are right, and the Pats winning. Yeah, so good luck tonight in Ashland and next week and at home. Thank you. Thank you. Joining us next in studio, Coach Steve St. Martin and the Player of the Week, Danny DeLorey. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mike.
So, as Coach Clifford had 3 games since we last met, so have you.
Yep.
So, Coach, why don't you walk us through the 3 games?
Sure. So we started out on Monday in the afternoon game with Dover Sherburne. DS was a fantastic team. They're one of the top teams in the league and vying for first place in the small side. So they were a big challenge, and for us, the schedule got a little changed because of the snow and sleet and ice that we all experienced, and so unfortunately, practices had to be moved and canceled, and then the freshman and JV game had to be, rescheduled to a later date. So we ended up pulling out that game. It was really close, and then Wednesday we played Bridgewater Raynham, which is Division I solid powerhouse, and they were fantastic. And that game went down to the wire, and we lost by 2. But it was a fantastic effort on part of the boys, and it was a great atmosphere to be around. Just the excitement and the energy in the building by both teams playing so hard and very competitive. And then tonight we have Ashland, so it'll be another challenge for us to see if we can maintain our intensity going from games and practices, which we talked about last time.
Yeah, so the win on Monday was your 11th win on the season. Second loss, again, to a phenomenal Bridgewater Raynham Division I team. And we talked after that game. I mean, neither team really could have lost because it was just a great effort. It was a great basketball game on all fronts. Came up a little bit short, but the boys gave their hearts and souls into the game. So that's, again, it's been a great experience. 11-2. You've already punched your ticket to the state tournament, which is your first goal. So now it's all about building on that.
Right.
So.
And we were very fortunate, and we've been fortunate since the start of my second year here to be able to make the tournament every single year. And that's a tough goal to have. It's one that we look at doing every year, and it becomes more and more challenging because our non-league schedule is so competitive, playing a lot of Division I teams and then the top Division II teams. So it's a testament to the players.
Yeah, but those games create mental toughness in situations that if you don't experience, you get to the tournament and all of a sudden some of the city teams or some of the other teams you might face, throw things at you and you just haven't seen it. So,
Correct.
Again, we've talked a bunch about that. So Danny, welcome to Around the Hoop.
Thank you for having me.
Your first appearance on the show.
Yeah.
So Danny, we just talked to Sarah Roycroft in the last segment. I'm going to ask you the same question. So, your first time here, you had a little bit of a different experience getting here last year, playing JV for most of the year. You were called up at the end of the year, got some playing time, got to see the speed, and the nature of the varsity level. So walk us through that experience and how it prepared you, and then how you prepared yourself to make the next jump before tryouts.
Yeah, so I was on JV last year playing with Coach Douglas, and on that team I was kind of like the facilitator. Like, I was kind of relied on a lot to score and to make all the right plays. And when I got called up, it was kind of like a wake-up call because the physicality from the JV level to the varsity level, it's crazy different. And yeah, so it was just motivated me to work out at Jason's in the off season to get better, stronger, go all the open gyms and stuff, and yeah.
That's great. And so you had that experience. You saw, again, even the practices. You saw the, some of the gameplay that you got last year. During the off season, again, you mentioned, the workout and the program that Coach St. Martin kind of oversees, and the captains kind of take it and run with it. Lifting with Jason down at Vanderbilt Club. What else did you do to make sure that you were ready for the tryouts? Because I know the tryouts are, they're intense, and it's all that point in time. Right. You could have been the best player on the team last year, or not played at all. It's who can deliver at that moment.
Right. Yeah, I just didn't want to get complacent. I knew I got called up to JV, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy to make the team. I still need to work and stuff, and yeah.
Awesome. So now walk me through this season. So you gave it your all. Obviously, you prepared and you made the team. So congratulations on that. You've been a big part of this team. So you didn't just make the team, and coach kind of looks down at you as one of the end of the bench type players.
Mm-hmm.
You played some really meaningful minutes. The Norwood game, probably the best game that you've had this season for the varsity squad. So walk us through what you've done this year to continue to improve every day.
Yeah, you just got to work hard in practice every day. It kind of just shows you everyone wants those minutes, so in practice it just makes that practice just so much better because everyone's fighting for the minutes, and it just makes you work harder because if you don't work hard, then you're not going to get the minutes. So, yeah.
Awesome. So when you're not in the game, how do you study the gameplay? How are you preparing mentally for coach to say, Danny, you're in? What do you look at? Are you watching every play? Are you dissecting, the point guard, the 2, the 3, because you may be in there in a split second?
Yeah, you're kind of just seeing the mistakes that your teammates are making. So when you get your name called, you don't make those same mistakes because then you'll just get taken out right away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And then, looking ahead, how do you continue to do that? Is it just, again, the hard work in practice and being mentally ready every time you're called?
Yeah, and every time you get into the game, just keep improving. Don't make the same mistakes. If you make a mistake, make a new one so you can learn from it.
Yeah. And coach is usually pretty understanding about the mistakes.
And to Danny's credit, he works extremely hard in practice and then had a fantastic, the Norwood game is the type of game that we expect him to play all the time. It just took him a little bit of time to get there. And once he was there, he had such a phenomenal game. Then the poor kid got really sick and was ill for the next three or 4 days. He was out of school and missing stuff he had to make up for midterms. And so, and to his credit, he's made all the stuff up he needed to do. And once he was back healthy, didn't miss a beat, jumped back into practice and was able to practice again. So, and put forth the same effort that he does. And that's what's going to carry him and carry any player. And that's a testament again to himself doing that, because it can become very discouraging when you have an injury or you're sick and you just played a fantastic game and earned yourself a lot of time, and then to be sick and miss out now, that can be a mental challenge. And for him, he just jumped right back on and made it happen. So it was good. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's that confidence. Once you have that confidence and you can contribute. You even mentioned last year, seeing the speed and the physicality of the varsity game, it takes you time to adjust. Once you adjust and feel like you fit in and you can contribute, then to get knocked down,
right.
It is tough to get right back up. So congratulations on that, and again, welcome to Around the Hoop. Coach, let's look ahead.
Sure.
Tonight you have a home game.
Right.
And actually, we got this Around the Hoop up pretty much before your home game last week,
Which
so
is interesting.
it was really
Yeah.
quick. So people might be watching this and then going right over to Bader Gymnasium.
Yeah. So Ashland's home tonight, and there's no team that you can take for granted or take lightly, no matter what anybody's record is or anything, because you just never know what that night's going to bring. So the thing that we always talk about is it doesn't matter who the team in the other locker room. It's the matters what we do ourselves, and are we prepared, and are we going to bring forth the same energy? Because that's the ultimate test, which we talked about last time. The energy you had to play for Bridgewater Raynham is the same energy you need to have the next day in practice, which is the same for the game, and that's how you become consistent as a player.
Yeah, that's great. So tonight you host Ashland again.
Right.
Next week, 2 tough games.
2 tough games on the road. We go to Medfield, which is always a challenge. Medfield's always one of the better teams in the league this year. Their record is, and they're down some but again, they're a threat. And then we go to Hopkinton on Friday, which is 2 games behind us in the league. So we don't have any time to waste and take a play or practice or anything off, because you're playing for the league.
Yeah, and you've battled the injury bug throughout the course of the season.
Right.
People are dinged up, and so everybody's called upon.
Correct.
And again, it's that mental toughness for knowing that when your number's called, you can't then turn on a switch. It has
Right.
to be on from every practice, every day,
Right.
which we've talked a lot about. Danny, on your end, anything that you're doing to prepare a little bit differently now that you're going to be called upon a little bit more with some of those injuries that the team is facing?
Yeah, well, we played these 2 next week, or all 3 teams actually. We played all of them so far, so we can look back at the film and see their different strengths and weaknesses, and try to change my game onto their strengths and weaknesses. So that's what I can do too.
Awesome. And a little plug for Westwood Media Center. You look at the film that is part of the Westwood Media Center partnership with the teams. So Tyler Markowski does a great job of filming all of your games. Coach Leibrock gets it into your coaching program, and then it airs on Westwood Media Center. So, Coach, want to talk a little bit, same question that I asked Coach Clifford last night. It was a phenomenal event.
Oh, yes.
Second basketball social.
Right.
And I want you to share some of the things that you said about your experience for 9 seasons. You've been the head coach. Again, since from the second season on, you've made the tournament every year.
Right.
So what has Westwood meant to you on the basketball front?
Just a fantastic community. I mean, I share with other coaches all the time what we do. So what I mean by that is the support from the parents, and then I share with them the support we have with Coach Clifford and the partnership we have with the youth. And they're just shocked. They can't imagine, like some will have 1 or maybe 2, but to have all those components together, no one does that. No one I've spoken to has that. And so we're very, very fortunate. And a lot of that is because everybody on every side is willing to work to make an experience for the kids that much better. The parents are willing to work, the kids are willing to work, the people in the community are willing to work, the coaches are willing to work, and everybody has to sacrifice. We're all sacrificing ourselves for each other. And that is what's special. That's what's different. You don't find this in every community. And for us to be able to do those things, whether it's run youth clinics with the WBA or run basketball leagues, Coach Clifford and I do both of those things together with the WBA. And then to have the social and the commitment from the parents, the sacrifices that they make for their time, their resources. We do pasta dinners, we do team dinners, we do functions, a lot of different things we do, and that's just such a phenomenal and special entity to have, and people don't realize how fantastic it is. And I know it and you were there from the beginning. We built it all from the ground up, and it was just a group of people willing to sacrifice, and then that's so contagious, and everybody sees how great of an experience it is. And all those resources are put back in, like Coach said, things for on and off the court, whether it be nights out or team dinners or the gear, different gear that we try to get them to take pride in where they play. And I didn't have that as a high school player. I played at Catholic Memorial. I didn't play for my town, so I don't know what that experience would have been like. And it just seems to me that I would have had so much pride in my town to do so. So that to me is just something we want to bring with the kids and make them feel proud of the program too.
Absolutely, and I think Coach Clifford mentioned it, and you just reiterated. I mean, the captain's parents did a phenomenal job last night, and it was just such a great event. And it's not just parents and people affiliated with the team. It's open to people that love basketball.
Everybody in the community.
Absolutely.
And even if we had folks who participated in last year and this year, whether they were there physically or donating an item for the silent auction, that were former players' parents. Yep. That are still involved in it, and when you go into the community, you bump into these people. They're always asking about how the program's going. Both Coach Clifford and I have relationships with the former players that we receive text messages all the time or write recommendations for, and you're just so proud to see them grow as people too. So it's a fantastic experience. Yeah.
Before we get to predictions of the Super Bowl, I'll also reiterate that being a part of the WBA, many years ago when you first became the head coach, and then seeing all of the kids and all of the second grade, third grade, fourth grade teams advance and grow. And right. Danny, you were, I remember when you were in fourth grade and starting your travel experience all the way through, Sarah Roycroft as well. Right. It's special now to see the successes, but to also know where all these kids have come from.
Yep.
And so it's been special, and working with both yourself and Coach Clifford has been phenomenal.
So the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, look forward to many years into the future of doing this. And again, every year we do Around the Hoop, the Patriots win the Super Bowl, right. So we kind of owe it to the New England Patriot fan community. So speaking of the Pats, it's prediction time. First ever prediction of a real score was last week.
That's right.
And you weren't as close as Coach Clifford and I, but you had the Pats in the win.
That's all I wanted.
In fact, in the first half, when the Patriots were up 14-0, you had the inside track. It was
Yeah.
a low-scoring game,
Looked
and
that way, right?
you were looking good, but not so much at the end.
That's right.
So let's give your
I'm
prediction.
going Pats 2017.
2017. Okay, so
2017.
that's even lower. You're the lowest score out of the three
That's right.
predictions so
That's
far.
right. I think it's going to be a real physical game, and they're going to run the ball really well, like they have done in the past, and hold the clock again, like that opening drive against KC. I think it's going to happen again.
There you go. So you're not a whole lot of confidence in TB12 and
Oh,
the
a ton
offense.
of I just think he's going to calm everything down and run it slow,
There we
and
go. Yeah.
they're going to kill the clock. And it's you
So
know,
if Tom's watching
2017.
this, you still predicting a win. He's going to be
Absolutely.
big, just not that big. So, Danny, let's go to you. Prediction.
I got 28-24 Pats.
28-24.
I see a game-winning drive on the line.
Final minute. No John Madden to say. I think you should take a knee. No,
Yeah, that was
it's
unbelievable.
before your time. You don't really know that
That
reference.
was the
but-
first Super Bowl.
Yeah. So good one. Final prediction for me: Pats 37, Rams 17.
Wow.
In a blowout.
Wow.
For the first time under Belichick, they win by more than 6, and it's a blowout.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying out loud. My inner anxiety isn't quite that confident, but
Right.
should be a great game.
It should be.
So again, thanks guys.
Thank you. Thank
Congratulations
you.
on the success so far. Look to rebound off what I call a good loss, which doesn't sound right, but I think it was. Good luck tonight against Ashland and next week against 2 really tough TVL opponents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. I want to give a special shout out to both Danny DeLorey and Sarah Roycroft, the Players of the Week. They're both naturals, and I expect to see them back in studio in the coming weeks and into the coming years. Also, Coach Clifford and St. Martin do an awesome job. Please come out and support both the girls and the boys team. It's the best ticket in town. Bring the family. The games have just been phenomenal. Also want to thank Westwood Media Center. If you haven't been down to 15 Purwall Street, please make it a point here in the new year. It's at 15 Purwall Street. It's a great asset for the town. Thank you to Maggie McGinnis and Connor Lynch. They are great assets to Westwood Media Center. And certainly Melinda Garfield, the executive director, does a great job. There have been some changes to the way funding for public access television are flowing through from the FCC. So please make it a point to get to understand some of those changes and why potential funding from the town and things that you can do could help Westwood Media Center and the viability going forward. Go Pats. Everybody here, clearly all homers, picked the Patriots. I'm the biggest homer of them all, 37-17 in a 20-point blowout. I hope to be right again. So again, until next time, signing off from Westwood Media Center.